We want to do a quick kind of debriefing of the storm, what we did right, what we did wrong, probably mostly what we did wrong. We've learned a lot. We've got a lot of comments from you guys, and thank you for that. There's a couple of comments that really stood out above all, and there's a few people that were pretty ugly and even announced their departure, and that's kind of surprising, but that's okay. We're not going to be for everybody. We showed that storm pretty much uncut version.
1938 local Coast Guard received a report of a 406 beacon alert 65 miles southeast of Brunswick, Georgia.
We are headed in the opposite direction of where we were. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Our flag's done. We don't know where we are. That's the sailboat. We're like sideways.
Are we in our circle?
We're in our circle.
Uncut version of it as it was unfolding and while we were, experiencing it. It was our first time experiencing those kind of forces. We're pretty sure we had higher than 50 knot winds. Pretty sure. Our anemometer measured, I think we had 48. Yeah. But it was also raining for a heavy part of it, and the heavy raindrops on the anemometer is going to slow it down a bit. So we think we had higher than 50 knot winds. That's frightening. You can take the classes, you can read the books, you can watch the other people on YouTube, you can think that you understand it all, but until you're in it and experiencing it for the first time, you don't know what you're in for.
And also, when you're in, we should probably wait a minute. That's going to be loud.
Just until they get past.
Yeah. So, and then the other complicating factor is we had 3 boats around us and a pretty tight space with land pretty close to our side, closer than where we are now. We're sitting in an anchorage right now. We got loads of room, nobody around us. It feels very comfortable here. Like if a storm blew through here, I would probably be a little less stressed than in that place.
I think let's talk quickly about the thing that we did right, and the only thing that I can think of that we did right was we were absolutely certain that our anchor was dug in and held deep.
Yeah.
We do that every time. When we drop the hook, we bear down on it hard. We're probably giving it 2,000 to 2,500 RPMs, and we're watching 2 points if we have them, and we hold it and make sure that we're holding.
Right.
We also have excellent ground tackle.
And we had been there for several days at that point, getting water and doing things that we needed to do. So we had plenty of time to kind of watch and see what we did over the days, which is always helpful. When you just come in and drop anchor before sundown and then it gets very dark and you're just like, you don't really know how you're holding.
Yeah.
If you can't see anything, it's more difficult.
So I'm choosing to look at this as a bit of an initiation. This is something that everyone goes through. If you're lucky, you've spent time on other vessels with other people being the captain and you experience it with somebody else in charge. That was not us. So it's an initiation, and we're not saying that we know everything. We don't.
Oh,
and
gosh, no.
we are learning.
We're novice, for sure.
If we're giving off the impression that we're showing people what to do, then I apologize for that, because we're not. And that's the point of this video. I realize that there are a lot of people out there that are watching us who are in various stages of doing the same thing, and
we're beginners.
They're
not
learning from us.
We're not comparing to anyone out there who's been doing this for years. We're beginners.
Yeah.
This is our first big trip. And I think the other thing is people who've been doing it for a long time, it gets to be old hat.
Right.
It's just like, whatever. It's 50-mile-an-hour winds. Who cares?
So this is a learning experience for us, and we're going to try to make it a learning experience for you. So what did we do wrong? Or what could we have done differently that would be more better? More better?
I think I probably should have turned on the engines to take some of the stress off. Now...
We had 3-ish comments telling us that.
Yeah, that maybe would have been a good thing. We had about 3-foot waves rolling through this anchorage during this time. It was a lot. The actual breakage that happened was later.
It was the next morning.
It was the next morning.
The heavy storm had already passed.
The heavy storm had passed, but we were still having like 35 knot winds, and it was just the current in that. The other thing is the current where we were in that part of Georgia is wild. The dock master where we had gotten fuel told us it was upwards of 7 knots at times.
Yeah, we were wind against current, so that was a big issue. We had the keys in. The engines were ready to start. As you saw through the whole video, Becky was at the helm. She's the captain. So we were ready to start the engines, but we realized in hindsight that we probably, as soon as we started seeing 30 knots, 35 knots, we probably should have started them. Now, if you fast forward a couple of years from now and we have a lot more experience with storms and confidence with our rig and our anchor, then maybe not. But in this circumstance, we should have had the engines on. That way we could have put them in forward and taken a little stress off of the anchor tackle.
And that's the other thing. That's our first big event like that. Big wind, big wild, big waves in an anchorage. We are like broadside to these waves now. We have these huge waves rolling through. The wind is dying down and the storm seems to have passed, and we have not had that with our anchor. So we know the Mantis anchors are good. That's what we have. We have a 65-pound Mantis. We know they're good. We hear all the good stuff, and it was good. But when you first go through it, it's like, is it going to hold? Is it going to hold? Like, what's going on? And the other big thing is, are the people around you going to hold?
That was
what
more
do
of a
they
worry,
have?
yeah.
Because they were flying around too, and one of them had no lights on them. None. Like no.
We don't even know if anyone was on board.
No anchor light. There was somebody on board. We saw them come and go several times, and I would imagine they were in for the night. But they had no anchor light, no nothing. So it's pitch black. You can't see them. So we had a spotlight that we were looking around just to kind of see what was going on, because there was no way to know where they were.
So that's a good segue to the next thing that we could have done differently, done better: the lighting.
Right.
We had multiple people comment about our lighting. So we
could see. It's so dark. I mean, I could see. The problem is my helm was on daylight mode. I have since learned how to turn it to night mode. I've never had to do that, and I actually didn't know how to switch it to night mode. But I've learned that since then. I know that sounds stupid, but
we know how to easily toggle it to night mode.
Right.
We had the salon lights on that are white lights. We do have one red light in the salon, so we probably didn't even need to have the salon lights on at all. We could have turned those off. Now, we turned on our blue lights. That was probably a mistake because it does impair our visibility a little bit. But we were worried about the other boats because they were also shining spotlights around. We were worried that they were dragging, and we wanted ourselves to be more visible. So that's why we did that. Going forward, I think we'll probably pull back on that sort of thing.
Also, we would like to install some red lights because there are none. There's one inside the boat, and that's it.
We
There's
don't have any
red lights on this boat.
There's never happened.
No.
In the cockpit area, so we're gonna do that. We do have a headlamp though that has a red light.
We
Actually,
have headlamps with red lights. Yeah.
So we could have done that. Yeah. Life jackets. Yeah. Wow. The life jacket police came out really, really strong with this particular video. There's mixed information on this. So if you look in our video, when the storm was just winding down, the heavy storm, and I said I need to go up and check the foredeck, Ella's like our life jacket police.
Life jacket.
You're right, Ella.
It's inside. It's right there.
Life jackets. So I put one on when I went out. The rest of the time we were in the cockpit, and the cockpit is very protected
deep,
and deep. I don't think that we...
And I don't know if you put in the video, but Carter was wanting to go out on the side. I'm like, absolutely not.
There's
You're
no reason
staying in
for the kids to go out.
Right.
No.
You're not going
now
out
soon,
there.
Carter's going to be a very helpful person, but he's still growing. So we're going to get him up to speed to be out front doing things when I need help. Now, the next morning when you saw us out on deck, when we were dealing with the broken rigging stuff, and we figured out what the terrible sound was. We both had life jackets on because we were out front, and even though it was daylight, the wind was still yuck. The water's really cold, and there's a lot of current. And
I hope they're not hung up in our anchor. He seems to be having trouble getting their anchor up. I'm wondering if they're hung up in our anchor. There's a fishing boat that came in front of us and dropped anchor. And
let's just pause. All right, sorry, we had to take a break because there was a fishing boat that was getting hung up on our anchor chain, but they managed to get it undone.
Yeah, they did.
They're out there. Very nice little family, but we were just about to have to pull up anchor to help get them undone.
Yeah, they were stuck, but then all of a sudden they hard reversed and came around the side of our boat, and they came off. So we're good. But I told him I could pull up for them.
Yeah. So a couple other things. Fenders. So we had one person mention that we should have some fenders out, and we actually did have some fenders out, and that would be
they were in the cockpit.
Yeah, that would be in the event that a boat was dragging or we were dragging and about to hit another boat. That's a good idea. Just another thing when a storm's coming like that, or if you have any preparedness time, to grab some fenders and just have them kind of ready.
Yeah, where our fenders are kept, we had some in the cockpit just sitting, but where our fenders are kept, at that point it felt a little too wild to go out front unless you absolutely had to, and then to keep the door, because they're actually in a heavy door locker.
Yeah, that can catch wind and come down and
right.
take a finger off if it's
which
aggressive.
We could tie it up, but with everything going on, it's just like at this point, we have a couple of fenders.
Yeah.
Already, let's not go get more right now just because somebody has to go out on deck, and we were doing this, and it's just like, yeah, let's just hold off on that.
And then the last thing that was mentioned in the comments, just by one person, but still very smart, is learning to use the radar for the targeting system. Now, we did show in the video that we had the radar on, but we were obviously clueless as to how to use it. We have spent some time learning how to use it in very clear conditions where we can differentiate
we can
land.
actually see crab pot buoys.
Little teeny tiny, probably 8-inch diameter crab pot floats in the water.
Yeah.
So we feel pretty good
about
the targeting now. That's excellent. So a lot to learn. So we still have more to learn as far as storms and visibility for all of that, because we've only had the ability to use it in harbor mode,
right?
Because we've been in harbor, we haven't been out in the ocean. But that's going to change very soon. We'll get some practice with it out there.
The other thing that I think is helpful, which we had on, was our AIS. Our AIS was on with other boats around us that had their AIS on. It's very easy to then target where they are and see how many feet they are from the boat, because I can see them. So even though they look kind of close, I can look and be like, oh, they're actually like 400 feet that way. So no chance of us hitting them with a swing around, even if we swing opposite. I think that's excellent.
You don't have to have a broadcasting AIS.
Right.
A cruising vessel, it's a very good idea to have a broadcasting AIS, but some will only have the receiving AIS.
Right.
So that's okay too for them, but it's very nice if everybody's broadcasting. That way we can each see where the other one is. Other things that we've done following the storm, we've ordered a new bridle. We think that our bridle is undersized, and it's also at the end of its life, so we've ordered a new one. And
we think it did stretch out during this event. It's showing somewhere, so.
And we're going to install a red light at the helm on its own dedicated switch. That's another good thing to have. I think we'll be ready for next time.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to happen again and again. These things always happen at night, so it was great that our first experience was at night. And then if it happens during the day, it's not nearly as bad.
Right.
But yeah, so we're ready for the next one. Oh, this is a good thing to mention also. There were two people, one in particular, that said after watching our video, they've realized that this is not for them, and they're not going to go cruising and adopt this lifestyle. And that breaks my heart a little bit, because don't make a decision based on us. We're ready to go again. We're not giving up. It's all part of it.
But I think the take-home message is that things are going to happen, and you can't control the weather. You can't control really anything that nature does, but you just have to be able to write it out and handle it. That's the thing. So.
Yep. Well, guys, thanks for watching. If you made it to the end of this video, and I hope that we're conveying a lot of good information here for people that are thinking about this or relatively new to this.
And we just wanted to pop in for a quick update, just a short, these are the things we've learned. We are probably close to 4 weeks past the event as we're filming this right now.
There was one person made a comment, and I'm not trying to say he's making comments. Made the comment that the gist was, don't drag this out for 4 months, and I think the problem with that is we're only putting one video up a week, and there's been a lot of things that have happened
But there's also been a lot of things that have not happened. We're about to catch up pretty quick because we had 3 weeks of nothing while we waited. Nothing to show, nothing to film, sitting at anchor for 3 weeks while we waited for repairs. So it's not...
So this video is going to pop up at a weird time.
Yeah.
I'm hoping for maybe Tuesday it'll pop up. And we're going to do our 4 videos a month. We're aiming for Sunday mornings. And you may find other videos from us during the week.
Yeah.
We might get 6 or 7 out in a month's time. And that's okay.
But we just kind of want to let people know we're not trying to drag it out endlessly. We haven't had anything we have, I think, a little bit of video of our time at Jekyll Island, which was the best part of everything. And then we had 3 weeks of sitting and doing nothing. So we're going to catch up really quick to what's happened.
And if you want real-time information, we are very, very active on Patreon. We put posts up there often, sometimes multiple days in a row. And real-time information, we are very much enjoying getting to know our patrons. Guys, thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already subscribed, if you have no idea what we've been talking about, I'm going to put a link right here to the storm video and you can get caught up. All right, guys, see ya.
Bye.
Bye.